speakers for today, who will be Ben Lusweti and Peter Andrew. So yes, you can take it over from there. Thank you.
Good morning, team. So thank you once more for joining us. And today's session is a bit more interesting, just not to mainly present to you what we want you to know, but to get to hear from you guys so that you ask the most questions that you normally have, and try to get feedback from us, and the best way you can make it even more effective in your operations in terms of maybe the knowledge gaps that might be there and the likes. So today's session is very interesting and very unique on its own. We will want to hear from you guys what have been the main things or other issues that you've been facing from your side that you'll need maybe addressed, or maybe the questions that you normally have that you seek answers that you don't know. So we are here today. We'll be undertaking the session together with my colleague, Peter Andrew. I'll usher him in so that he can say hi before we proceed. Peter?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much, team, for joining us. I'll be pleased to interact with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So straight to it. So how we'll be conducting this webinar today is just by you raising up your hand, and then you can ask your question. Also, you can type your questions or comments on the chat box. We'll have my fellow colleagues who will be there to address the questions or comments that you have written in the chat box. So yes, so feel free. Anyone can start by raising their hands up so that we can be able to see how we can address best your questions. And also at the end of it all, we remember we have a game session, which is an interesting session also. So be keen, be interested in learning today, and get to know how we get to deliver through Slade360. So anyone can start. You can raise up your hand. Maybe a question you've been having for the longest time, but you've never gotten an answer, or you like just to share a comment, give flowers, or maybe give any sort of maybe concern that you might be having from your end. It's an open forum for FAQs. So yeah, so I welcome anyone with a concern or a question or a comment. So you can raise up your hand, or you can chat in the, you can text in the chat box. Okay, so we have Michael. You can unmute and proceed and ask your question.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. You can also tell us the facility you're coming from. And then
my name is Michael from Vicam Hospital, Maseno. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I just want to know how long does it take the Slade password to expire, and how soon can it be fixed? Because this has been a thorn on our flesh. Whenever the password expires, for it to be set takes a longer time. So we get it difficult to do the claims, especially those who are coming on smart. And is there a way it can be linked in such a way that once you've done smart, the claim automatically is seen at the Slade?
Hi, Michael. Allow me to answer your question. I'll respond to your question in this manner. In a business perspective, we normally expect some fluctuations in the business. So alongside our way of operation, we manage, I think you're actually talking about Britam. Currently, we no longer work with Britam. So that's the reason why your Slade portal, you can't be able to log in because that was the only provider or payer that you're actually seeing. So we can't do any claims for Britam. Alternatively, they actually guided on how you can do it. You can actually engage Britam to assist you on more. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Peter, for that.
Okay.
So currently you are with which insurances?
Work with APA Jubilee.
Huh?
APA Jubilee. Slade.
APA and Jubilee.
Jubilee Heritage Individual Schemes.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank you. That one is not a.
Okay, thank you, Peter and Michael. So also just in addition to that, the second part of the question that you asked around having the smart claims automatically go to Slade, in the event that maybe you onboard to below FPA in terms of e-claim transmission, there's a provision for that where probably you can think of going the integration way, which will sort out that concern in terms of maybe having done on a system, then the same information is transmitted to Slade for payment, or rather for it to be loaded to the insurance for payment processing. So the only way you can do that is probably through an integration where there is an exchange of data from the system to Slade360. Yes. So I can see a hand from, let me see who raised their hand first. Okay, so credit control, maybe you can unmute, then you can tell us from which facility you are from.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have a question. We have some invoices raised as.
Sorry, kindly introduce yourself, then you can proceed. Maybe your name and the facility you are from.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, we have invoices that are dating back as late as October, November of last year. That from our end they are raised on Slade, but now they don't generate what we call the payer document reference for the insurance companies to have a view of the same invoices. So we are having problem in having those invoices paid because now the insurances they can't have a view of those invoices. Do you have a solution to that, and how long can that be fixed? Because I wrote an email to Slade team, and up to now I have not received a solution to them to those invoices, and they are really holding us from receiving those payments.
Okay, thank you for that. I will have loved if you introduced yourself and told us from which facility you are from. So that
This is from Jakarta Maternity.
Okay. Your name, please?
Ambura.
Bura. Okay. So what happens is probably they're not for such like cases, they are probably case specific. So the best way to do that, once we have maybe gotten the concern from that specific or rather affected invoices, we're able to review where the issue is, and then we're able to generate the documents or rather load the documents to the insurance for payment processing. So for such like cases, it's a bit case or rather invoice or claim specific that will need probably to get specific samples for them to be submitted to the insurance. So for this event, I think you've mentioned that you already submitted the request to us. Maybe you can just do a follow-up in the event that maybe it has not been responded to. You can do a follow-up email so that we can pick it up and see where the gaps are, and then you can share feedback on the same.
Okay, that's noted. I'll do a follow-up email on the same because I wrote an email on 15th, and then I received an automated response that it was being checked into, and your team will get back to me. So since 15th to date, I haven't heard from your team, so I'll do a follow-up email on the same.
All right. We just kindly do that, then we can probably pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? You can see my colleagues are responding on the chats, so you can proceed. Wherever you're comfortable, do it through the chats, or you can perhaps just raise up your hand and ask your question. Anyone, you can raise up your hand so that you can maybe ask a question or share your comment. I think I've seen a question from Damik, and they're asking specifically, why do we sometimes load and submit claims to the insurance companies? Then they say that they don't, or that they can't see or find them from their side. So to address this question, I'll say it in this context. So we have a module called Auto Recon on Slade360, which basically works in the sense that what you need is to have your statement. The order is that, or rather the rule is, just have your Excel statement and the invoices on the very first column, a plain Excel, and then you can upload it on the Auto Recon tab so that it runs to check the status of the invoices. So once you get the results of those invoices, you can be able to follow up with the insurance for payment processing. And this is what you need to look out for before maybe you take a step of going to the insurance for payment or rather follow up. It's very important that you mostly do your auto recon frequently so that you understand the status of your invoices and where they are, and from there you'll be able to tell or rather know the next step of action. So if a claim is normally loaded to the insurance, we have columns that normally are called pair invoice number or pair document reference. So those basically shows you that just like you have your invoice number on your side, once you load a claim to the insurance, it's assigned a unique identifier or reference called the pair invoice number. And then the documents that you've attached or the system has generated for you, we load them and then we assign them a specific number called pair document reference. So to cater for that, you can always do auto recons. They have different categories. From that category, you'll be able to determine where is the next step of action I need to take so that I get my claims paid. So every time you do recon, you're able to tell just from, or rather the recon is supposed to help you probably make informed decision and know who to follow up with. And yes, from there, you'll be able to make the right decisions. I hope that tries to answer your question, Tamik. I see we have a hand from Colin Kukwech. You can unmute and tell us from which facility you are from, and then you can ask your question. Collins? So for those who are joining us, the session today is all about hearing from your side, as opposed to us probably guiding you or representing something from our end. So it's just a bit more like you can ask questions from your side, the questions that you have, maybe the comments that you might be having, so that we can be able to address them from our side. So yes, Peter, can see Peter Okoth is raising the hand up. Please unmute, then proceed. Peter? Okay. Yes, Collins, please proceed.
Sorry, this is not Collins. My name is Eunice from Mater Hospital.
Yes,
I
Winnie.
think I logged in with somebody else's password. Now, my question is,
Okay.
we are on the auto recon, huh?
Mhm.
When you do an auto recon, on the worksheet, we have different worksheets. Can an invoice be on different worksheets at the same time? That's my first question. And why I'm asking that is because when you do an auto recon, you find when you total the worksheet totals, it goes beyond the amount that you've given on your statements. That's why I'm asking, is it that one invoice can appear separately or what is the position? Thank you.
Oh, okay. So one invoice cannot appear on different workbooks. Reason being, we identify a specific claim using the unique identifier, which is the invoice number. So it should be solely on one specific workbook, telling you the status that that invoice is in that state, and then that will guide you the next step of action. So in the event that you get maybe discrepancies in terms of the auto recon, as you have mentioned, it will be ideal probably for us to get those specific samples so that you compare from the input that you did the auto recon with, and then you compare it from the output that you've gotten, which is a bit more different from what you put as the input. Then you can be able to compare the two so that you know where the gap is and be able to address it. So probably the best thing to do, I'll assume maybe in that context, you've already shared with your relationship manager the specific auto recon, right?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Okay, sawa. So I can specifically follow up with them so that we see the progress that has been made, and then we can get back to you on the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Ben.
Morning.
To add on it, like what you can actually check is on our Taricon reports, whenever you're actually generating one, we normally have different status. And among the amounts, like you might not, the amounts, when you do the auto recon, you, in one or two ways, you will find like the total that you'll actually get won't be able to tally. And among the reasons that will actually be brought, or it will actually be as a result of certain status under auto recon called not on Slade. So if you work on claims under not on Slade, the reason why the amount will be discrepant is the claims under not on Slade, you don't have them, and that's the reason why we want to find why are they stuck on your HMIS. So since we don't have them on our side, we may not be able to tell their value unless you do a VLOOKUP on your side. This is just to add that my colleague Ben has actually answered. Thanks. Alasha, you, Kevin George, you are saying something.
Yeah, so on that issue, there are a bit three ways, like the way you've said, you and Ben, but the best way is you might find an invoice which has maybe give or take, maybe it doesn't have diagnosis and maybe let's say attachment. So this invoice will appear in two of these different columns, missing attachment or missing a diagnosis, which sometimes under diagnosis, it gives you a different, it gives you a figure, and also missing attachment, it also gives you a figure. But as Ben has said, we will have that in mind. I can also come and personally, because I know Eunice, I know your office. We can pass by Esther and we get to see and how best we can help you in the issue, in the matter.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin and Peter, for that specific response. So those who have just joined, we are saying today is a bit of getting to hear your concerns, your questions. Maybe there's a question you've been wanting to ask, but you've not gotten someone to ask. So this is your time to ask that question. Or maybe if there's clarity that you need from our end, this is the time when you can do that. So we have two channels. You can raise up your hand and ask, or you can do that through the chat box. My colleagues are there to respond on that. Yes, Michael.
Good morning. This is Mike from Cherangani Hospital.
Yes, Michael.
I don't know whether I just want to raise this question, which I've raised with you previously, just to hear whether other providers have the same concerns. It is regarding invoices that sometimes they give us an error. For those of us who have integrated our systems with Slade, and what solutions can we get now? Because it's been a running issue for some time now.
Okay. So number one, it depends with what error you're getting. But then just to bring it into context, remember integration is much more like two systems are interjoined so that they can exchange the data. And for this reason, the current type of integration that is there with your current hospital, we call it API integration. So what happens is, depending on the nature of the information that you send to us is what we get. So if there is an error that is being, or rather is being thrown at that specific point, we need to understand what error it is so that it can be analyzed and get a solution for that specific issue. So there's much more to bring into context is we normally need to collaborate with the vendor of the system, ideally because the information is supposed to come to our side. And if you are getting an error, that means that information has not yet come to our end. So we need to kind of collaborate the two parties so that we can be able to analyze the specific issue to get a solution out of that specific issue. So another thing to add on that is if you get an error, it's best that probably it should be addressed or raised almost immediately, or rather as soon as possible, so that we can be able to collaborate and be able to analyze the issue at hand and get a solution for that specific issue. So if you've been having a persistent issue for some time, then it will be ideal that probably through your relationship manager, you raise that concern so that we are able to analyze in collaboration with your specific vendor so that we can see how we can assist that. Is that okay?
Okay, Ben, and then there's also another concern,
Mhm.
that pertains to the member linkage. Sometimes we find that as from our end, we've completed the claims, but it remains unsubmitted on your end. I don't know, maybe it's a challenge on member linkage, or we're supposed to do that.
To the member linkage? Or
Yes. Yes, because
doing
sometimes
member
on our end, the claims remain unsubmitted, yet we have completed our processes on our end.
Okay, so just to bring it into context, member linkage in most cases is brought around, as you said, the integration is an exchange of data from your side to Slade. So if you are provided with a unrecognized membership number for that specific member, that's why the claim won't be able to be submitted. It will fall under unsubmitted with the reason that it requires member linkage for it to transition to the insurance. Remember, for a claim to be loaded, it should be loaded to a specific member, and the unique reference for that is the membership number, which is required. And if you don't provide the correct membership number, that is where you find that there's an issue with member linkage. And then in addition to that, we have given, rather provided a tab where you're able to do member linkage, just to make sure that you link to the correct member, because at this context, the system does not know who you served, but rather you as a human, or rather the provider in this context, you are able to define or rather tell the exact person whom you served, maybe through the member names, the scheme, and even all that. I know most facilities use even the medical cards or the ID to verify the specific member. So at this point, you have an upper hand for knowing who you served, as opposed to Slade, or rather the Slade team, or rather the system, to be able to determine who the correct member is. That's why the member linkage is mostly done by the provider as opposed to us this side. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. This is well noted.
Okay. So I think at this point, I'll want to usher in my colleague, or rather we can take one question from Peter, and then we'll jump into the game session before we proceed. Yes, Peter?
Peter Okoth, you can take it up. As Peter plans as well to take it up, like just to add on what Ben, my colleague, has said about the member linkage. If you get any challenges in terms of linking that particular member within your facility, and this applies to all the integrated sites, we always have our regional managers who handle all the account handlers or account managers from Savannah. That's who handle different sites. So you can actually reach out to the person who handles your site and just inform them about the members or the challenges you're getting across the member linkage bit, so that we be at par, then all your bills proceeds to the insurance side. Thanks. Peter, I guess you're ready. Peter Okot, you hear the question?
Oh, Peter? Okay, if that's not the case, I'll want to usher in my colleague Esther, so that she can take us through the game session. This is very interesting, and make sure you are very keen, because we'll take the very first answers as the correct answers for that specific reason. So Esther, please take over so that you can take us through the game session.
So thank you very much, Ben. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Kindly confirm you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yes, thank you so much. So this is just a little break, to make this conversation a bit fun and to engage all of you. So like my colleague said, we'll ask a few questions, which will also be here. So we'll ask a few questions, and then you will answer in the chat, and we'll take the first person to respond as the correct answer. So I hope you're ready. Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, so I think we can start with the first question. What does BMI stand for in health and fitness? What does BMI stand for in health and fitness? We're already seeing a few responses coming in. Okay. Thank you. I'm seeing answers from Jared, Sarah, Denise, Sami. Body mass index, couple of responses. Well, you have to give the full answer. I've seen someone just said index, so it has to be the correct thing. Okay, we have a couple of responses. So the correct answer is, in fact, body mass index. So congratulations to the person who responded first. I think we'll just confirm that with my colleague Sandra. All right. Thank you very much. We can move on to the second question. I hope you're ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right. So the second question, it's an interesting one. Which hormone is often called the love hormone? We are all moving to February, so this should be a very easy question. We're moving to the month of love. So which hormone is often called the love hormone? Wow, a lot of responses coming in. Some people saying oxytocin. Someone said estrogen. Well, oxytocin. I don't think it's estrogen, guys. So we have responses here from, I'm sure this is not the official name, but Pedi254, Collins, Karen, Sarah, Dennis, Sign, Benson, oxytocin, yes. Well, someone said oxytocin. I don't think the toxin is part of the love hormone, but thank you for responding. And the correct answer here is oxytocin. Again, we'll confirm with my colleagues in the chat who responded first and reach out to them. Okay, this is a good game session so far. Thank you so much for being involved. We can move on to the third question. Which part of the human body contains about 70% of the immune system? You need to really think about this. It's which part of the human body contains about 70% of the immune system? Which part? I'm seeing a couple of answers. Understand the question. These questions are coming really easy to you, it appears, because you people in the medical field, I thought it was going to be more difficult. We have a couple of answers. Somebody said, I don't think this was for that question, serotonin, but someone said adrenaline. Remember, I said what part of the human body? I'm seeing people saying gut, brain. Interesting. Blood. I don't even think I can read this word. Let me try. Gastrointestinal tract. You can really tell you people in the medical field because of how you are phrasing these words. Somebody said water. Somebody said skin. Interesting. Somebody said the digestive system. We also have veins. What do you guys think? What do you think? Give me your thoughts. Somebody said galt, G-A-L-T. So thank you for your responses. The correct answer is the gut. Yes, and this is because it contains the digestive tract. So again, my colleagues in the chat will try to find who responded first. You people really know some serious terminology. Some of them I'm trying even to understand, and I don't even think I can. So we can move on to the fourth question. So this is interesting. Think about phones. So which famous tech company launched its first phone in January 2007? Which famous tech company launched its first phone? Remember, we are asking, okay, I'm seeing some responses here. Which famous tech company launched its first phone in January 2007? Remember, we asked about the tech company, not the phone itself. Let's go through a couple of responses. Somebody said iPhone, then quickly corrected themselves to say Apple. We have someone saying Nokia. I mean, first phone in January 2007. We have Techno. Interesting. Somebody said Oppo. Okay. I have Nokia, Samsung, Zami. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Is it Zami? Xiaomi? We have it as a response from Christine. Thank you very much. Apple, iPhone, Apple. Another interesting question is iPhone spelled as one word like iPhone, or is it like an I, then phone? Because I'm seeing people spelling it differently. Some are putting it as one word. Some people are separating it. Somebody said Apple Incorporated. Apple. Someone said Motorola, Isiolo Dental Clinic. Thank you very much for the response. Thank you very much for engaging. I'm seeing the responses are not coming in. So the correct answer is Apple. Yes, for some of you who said Motorola and Nokia, the correct answer is Apple. All right, so I hope we are ready for the final question. Give me a thumbs up if you are ready. So for this one, think about holidays. Think about holidays, all the holidays you know. Think about holidays. I hope you're ready. What is the first public holiday of the year called? First public holiday of the year. We're in January, so which one have you already celebrated? I'm seeing some people saying Easter. I don't think we have celebrated Easter yet. What is the first public holiday of the year called? I thought we would have some people talking about their birthdays, especially those who have already had their birthdays. I saw some people having birthdays on January 1st, other people January 2nd. You know, some people treat their birthdays as public holidays. So we have a lot of responses coming in. Can just see some of the responses. We have some people saying New Year. Someone said Labor Day. Pretty sure that's somewhere in the middle of the year. But thank you for that, Sammy. New Year, Easter. You have someone saying Easter. Labor Day. Also a good question there. Is Labor Day spelled with a single O or is it OU? Labor Day. Something to think about. Have someone saying Easter. Or someone said, I think they meant to say New Year, not New Tier. New Year, Labor Day. Oh, we have a new, forget what I said about the O or the U. We have someone telling us it also has an E. So Labor holiday. New Year. Okay, Easter, wonderful. Thank you so much for the responses. And the correct answer here is New Year's Day. So my colleagues in the chat, thank you so much everyone for participating. I think I'll just take this session back to Ben.
Thank you so much, Esther. Naona watu wamechangamka sana kwenye session. Don't worry, for the winners, you'll get gifts. So you'll get your contact, then we'll reach out for gifts to be delivered to you. So back to our FAQs, and I hope you guys are learning some things from what you are doing today. This second session is just more to continue on what we've been talking about, just for you guys to ask questions. Before the game session, I know some people had asked questions. So my colleague Peter will be asking questions, but first, just to read it out loud, we have a question from Felix, that is Felix from AR Healthcare. Please advise on claims that have taken more than 90 days to be submitted to payers. How are these flagged and providers informed? So I'll ask my colleague Peter to respond to this question, and then we can proceed with the rest of us carrying hands. Peter?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Felix, as well, for your question. So the question is on the claims that have taken more than 90 days to be submitted. From the question, I can take it in two ways. Like the claims have taken more than 90 days to be submitted. That means like they're actually aligning. They're actually between the submission from the provider. They've not been done all the attachments and all the details, all the requirements on the Slade portal. So that's my understanding on it. So what happens is each and every insurance, they normally have a timeline for the claims to reach the insurance end. In most of the insurances, they actually flag them as time-barred. That is, they work with 90 days, some work with 60 days based on the provider as well. So once the claim are actually 90 days, they move, when you do an auto recon on your side or on your end, you'll actually get them under time-barred or closed claims. So those particular claims, depending with your account handler on the insurance end, those are the people whom you reach out, you just inform them, like we have these particular claims under time-barred, and we just request them to assist you in terms of reconciling with them.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, for that. I hope, Felix, that answers your question. So probably just in addition to that, a claim will transition from being to time-barred if it's basically under the status of unsubmitted or incomplete for a period more than 90 days. Those are roughly like 3 months. So if a claim is in that state specifically for more than 90 days, then that's when the claim will transition to time-barred or closed. So for a claim to be incomplete, it means it's missing some of the requirements for a claim to be complete to be submitted to the insurance. And these components include, could be diagnosis, could be maybe the wrong membership details, or rather they don't have the correct member details to be able to load it to the correct member. So that is also defined as an incomplete claim. And mostly it's around the membership issues and the diagnosis. The other providers, depending on your workflow, if you've not done your attachments, the required attachments, then the claim will be incomplete. So if it remains in incomplete state for more than 90 days, that's when the claim transitions to time-barred. And how we notify this to you is sending the daily incomplete reports to you guys. So if you are an integrated site and you don't get incomplete invoices report, please share your concern or rather share your details so that we can be able to reach out and see how best we can help you towards that specific case. I hope that answers your question, Felix, just around that. So the other question that I'd like my colleague Peter to respond to is, there's a question from Dexter that if a bill has been reserved on Slade, but the reservation has no corresponding invoice number against it, will the claim still be payable? Peter?
Hi, thank you so much, Ben, and thank you so much as well for the question. So I'll try to answer your question, then I'll actually engage you to confirm as well. So the main reason why we introduced reservation or balance reservation was initially we had a lot of rejections from the provider end and from the payer end, which was actually in line with when a patient walks into facility A, then this particular patient, this facility A, most likely, almost probably, they never had all the entire tests that the patient was supposed to be done, or they never had all the drugs that the patient required to have. Number two, no, this is the case, and this particular patient goes to or is referred to that facility, to facility B or C, to collect the drugs or to collect the lab tests. And you get like these balances are always shared. Or let's say the family member is actually moving across different facilities as well to get medication, because it can never be promised like the should plan. So we created a balance reservation to assist this particular facility. If at all this balance, the patient was actually going for the result, then coming back, then the amount of money that the patient was remaining with on the card was actually reduces. So we tried to a level bit to allow this facility A to reserve the amount to ensure like this particular amount is not utilized by a different facility. So whenever you reserve, when you check on the reservation part, you'll actually see like the invoice number is always optional. So that will mean like after doing the reservation, you'll actually proceed and do the billing, whereby you'll do the invoice attachment, because the invoice attachment is part of the requirement. The invoice number, sorry, is part of the requirements for a bill to be complete. Failure to that, it will actually go under incomplete. So the invoice number under reservation is not necessary, because once you are doing the billing, your claim will be paid, because the invoice number is actually part of the billing requirements. I guess I've answered your question.
Okay, thank you, Peter, for that. Next, we hope your question has been answered, and hopefully you have been assisted in that direction. So I've seen there's a hand from Chuda Healthcare. You can please unmute and proceed, ask your question, and then my colleague Peter will respond. Chuda? Chuda, you can go ahead and ask your question. As probably maybe you are waiting on that. Also to just remind you guys around the reservations, always make sure that the net amount of your invoice is always equivalent to your reserved amount. If that is not the case, you risk a rejection because you will not have done the deduction from the member's card. So reservations are different. You can do it through the member verifying through the OTP or the fingerprint. You can do a reservation through the pre-authorizations, and the pre-authorization is where I want to insist mostly. So if your net bill is, assuming your net bill is around 15,000, and you have done a pre-auth, or rather a service that requires a pre-auth, which is worth 10,000, assuming that the net bill is 15, the pre-auth caters for 10,000. So if we have an auto reservation of 10,000, that means the difference of 5,000 you need to beat to do a reservation, so that the total reservation is equivalent to the net amount that your invoice carries. So always make sure that the invoice amount is equivalent to the reserved amount. Otherwise, you risk a rejection of not deducting the members' balances. Yeah, so I've seen a hand from Santereva.
Hi, Ben. There's also a question on the chat box. We can just answer it because it actually relates on what we are discussing. So the question is, you answered it, though I'll just answer it again. The question is from Moses Karanja, who is asking about, on that, why does reserving the claim amount require the member authentication or the member already authorized the initial visit? The end goal why we are doing everything is actually because of the data security and the data confidentiality. So the patient has to give consent on both of the areas. That is to confirm, because you'll get like most of the patients, they will actually go to the insurance side or the agents to confirm or to say like they never visited that particular facility. What we rely on is we'll actually give the insurance in terms of troubleshooting that particular case. We shall actually give a case scenario. Like patient Y came in at facility A, then they authenticated the visit through fingerprint. In a reality, we know very well you can never authenticate via fingerprint if at all you're not at the facility, because we'll actually check with even the history. If at all this particular patient has been using the fingerprints. So the patient has to authenticate, they just have a consent. I guess Moses, you're satisfied.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. I think that clarifies that. In the spirit of reservation, I see there's also a question from Nixon Lagat. Hello, team. So my quiz is if the reserved amount to the facility, okay, I'm assuming that he means that you have done a reservation at a facility and then a patient rejects a drug. So what happens in this context if you've done maybe a reservation, then a patient does not want to pick that drug? So what you do, you can, if you've done it through the patient, you can always release the reservation by your side. But if it's something associated to a pre-auth, then you need to raise that request through the support lines that we have, so that it's reversed. And something also to add on that, remember we don't do partial reversals. So it's a matter of doing a full reversal of the reservation. Then you do a correct reservation, which will entail that the patient must be there to authorize for that reservation to be made. I can see, I hope that Nixon answers your question. If not, you can raise up your hand so that maybe you can clarify. So I can see also a question from Dereva. Hello, we have.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, yes.
My question is now in case of APA, for example, their limit, the total limit is 7,000. In case where a patient comes in and for the labs need a pre-authorization, and now after we do that pre-auth on the portal, the second time now the patient has like treatment, we are getting medication and the bill exceeds the 7,000. Do we need to initiate another visit for us to get that another pre-authorization, or how do we go about it so that we can now do a pre-auth for the whole thing?
Hi,
Okay.
I think I'll answer your question. So on the bill, what we'll do is pre-authorization on our side. We actually gave out pre-authorization in different modules. That is like you can do within one particular visit, you can do several pre-authorizations. Among them, you can do the pre-authorization that you're mentioning. Let's say it's a lab pre-authorization. So after doing the lab pre-authorization, then you actually like the patient actually requires, let's say like the imaging. You actually go on the same path, then click request pre-authorization, then pick the pre-auth type as imaging or radio. If at all this particular patient has the bill has actually exceeded the limit, you'll actually go and check the bill other as the document as the pre-auth type. Then you just take you just type in the bill extension or any name that you might use in that particular manner. If at all it is the drugs as well, at all you have any exclusion, you just take the prescription. So like we actually allow multiple pre-authorizations based on the case scenario to assist you while serving this particular patient.
Thank you.
In line with the reservation, if at all the patient has visited for lab works, and let's say the lab works were 7,000, then this particular patient is recommended to take the drugs. And when you check the two, you get like the bill, let's say like the labs were approved 7,000. Then the bill now with the drugs comes into 10,000. The 3,000 on how to add the charge, you just go and under reservation, you just add the difference. That is the 3,000, so that you make the reserved amount to be 10,000. If at all the drugs doesn't require the pre-authorization. Hope I've answered your question.
Thank you.
All right, we can go to Juma Mohammed. After Juma, we'll go to Karen, then we'll go to Chuda. If at all you're ready.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, my name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Dr. Kalebi Labs, Upper Hill. Maybe let us take a scenario like a patient has just visited our laboratory, do some other tests, some several tests, and upon taking the patient samples, there's some tests that the turnaround time is maybe like 1 month, or the other like maybe let us take as an example of the test is taking like 2 weeks. Then our pathologist noticed that the sample taken is not sufficient, and previously we have already billed the full amount. So on this case, upon reaching the patient requesting for resubmission of the sample or a fresh sample, the patient seems to resubmit the sample and use the refund. On this scenario, how can we go about it? Because the patient got the refund and we've already billed everything on the Slade portal.
Hi, Juma. You actually broke on some few. Would you mind to repeat your question, please?
Okay, I'm saying,
okay.
The patient, maybe a patient visited us, doing some lab tests, and then we bill everything. Maybe like the bill is amount 30,000. Then after the test has been done, some has been done, but some, due to sample insufficient, we did not conduct that test. Then our pathologist request that we need a fresh sample for us to do the pending test. Upon calling the patient for resubmission, the patient ceased to come for the resubmission and rather needs the refund because we've already billed 30,000.
What you do in that particular start is on our Slade portal, on both the integrated sites and the ones who are not integrated, we created a column whereby we actually allow, with even your normal operation of your facility, we normally allow credit note and the debit notes. So in this case, the credit note will be ideal. You'll actually raise a credit note on that particular service that the pathology are actually requesting for the sample, and yet it was billed, so that you balance the patient, like you just return that amount so that it gets utilized in the near future. Alternatively, that is in case whereby the patient has requests for reversal. Alternatively, you can just, if at all the prices are just the same, you can work with the insurance and as well as the patient. If at all they are comfortable to work with that particular reservation that were done, then you collect the sample. So two ways occurs. The first one, once you do the credit note, you'll have to generate, whenever the patient comes in for that particular sample to give out the sample, you'll actually do a fresh billing and confirming the patient like you did a credit note. Once you do a credit note from your system as well, because your system as well will be audited, so you just do the credit note on that particular billed item. Then you also raise the credit note on our side. If at all your facility is integrated, we'll actually pick the credit notes from your internal HMIS. But if at all your systems are not integrated, you will be able to, you have a capacity to return a billed item on Slade portal. If you get any challenges or within the same module, our contacts are always available to assist you in terms of assisting doing the reversal. Thank you. I guess I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
All right. We'll go to Karen. Karen followed by Judah.
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah, my name is Karen from Astra Dental. So I have a query in terms of now the policy. In terms of the, what is it called? When a policy is renewed, how long does it take for it to reflect in the Slade portal? Because I have an instance in an insurance whereby they say that the policy was not yet renewed, but for our case it was available on the Slade portal.
You have a case scenario, like you're actually in line with the rejections. You got the error from the rejection.
They say that the policy had not yet, it had some like few days before it was active.
What we can do, we can actually work in a case scenario whereby you can actually share with us the details through the current. Do you contact your regional manager, your relationship manager?
Not yet. It's an ongoing reconciliation.
You can actually raise it with the relationship manager, who will actually raise it to us, or you can raise through our support email so that we just take it as a case to case, so that we analyze the case. But initially on our side, what happens is we normally rely with the information from the insurance. If at all they have already renewed from their systems and they give us a go ahead, we'll actually ensure that the schemes are active. But in a case scenario like the one that you are having, you can be able to troubleshoot it.
Okay.
Best.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Judah? Or I'll take any questions. For those who are joining in, we are having a Q&A whereby you're actually raising questions to us. or any concerns. You can also give improvements, area of improvement of you actually are partners, then we actually want to listen to all our partners in terms of bettering our healthcare and in terms of bettering as well our platform. So you can actually also give us the feedbacks or the correction that you might also need us to check through on the portal or initiate on the portal so that actually will be at par. Then in line, I'll also talk about the feedback or the NPS that we always send. We normally give, apart from this particular meeting, each and every time, like mostly it's always on a Mondays, we normally share whereby like when you log in on the portal, it will actually give you a way of rating Slade. Give you whereby you have to rate within 0 and 10. Then it also have a capability as well to do the reason why you're rating. In that particular module, can also use to raise the feedback or the concern or the areas of improvement that you might need us. You might be thinking that you're perfect, though there is a break with internally or inside something. So all those feedbacks, we all welcome all of them to this side. So in that spirit, I welcome questions. I'll take the questions from Coptic. Kindly clarify why the requested amount is being reserved instead of being approved. Okay. Coptic, do you mind to ask the question? I'd like to understand it. Timothy? Hi, Timothy. Because the requested amount, like, I'm not sure on what you're meaning, but the requested amount, that means it goes to the requested amount is in line with the pre-authorization. And the pre-authorization, what happens is once you send a pre-authorization, the amount that you're actually sending gets approved. Then after getting approved, it gets an auto approval. That is an auto reservation, sorry. That is in line with a reservation. That is to block this particular patient to utilize this particular amount from a different facility. That is if at all like, is actually like a consent as well. So this results to a delay, as we are then required to follow up with the Slade team to release the reservation, then back to the client. Timothy, I would like you to explain your question well, kindly.
Okay, so I think as we almost come to a closure to this session, as we come to a closure, I'd like to also try to respond to add on what Timothy is saying, probably because I'll say understand the issue. It's also a mix-up also with an issue with the integration that probably you're working on in collaboration with the vendor. So probably that's a separate case that you can look into and maybe reach out to you. There's a question also from Daniel from Nairobi West. So in case of over reservation through a pre-authorization and the member has left the facility, how do we amend this to match the final bill? Number one, why would you want to do an over reservation? I thought we need to get the exact amount you need to utilize in this context, so that the reason why you're seeking approval is to give services equivalent to the pre-auth that you're sending. So first of all, if there's an over reservation for a pre-auth, that means there's some concern that needs to be addressed there around over reservation. However, to address your question, if there's an over-reservation through the pre-authorization, the patient is not there. There are only two scenarios, or rather two issues or other solutions to that. Number one, you can seek, or rather you can talk to the patient to come back, because for you to reserve, they need to use their fingerprint, or if they are whitelisted for OTP, then better. And then that will mean that you need to talk to the Slade contact team so that they are able to release the reservation, then you do the correct reservation. Number two, when the claim loads for this specific case, it will be able to link to the correct benefits, then the excessive, or rather the one you're calling over reservation, will be able to go back to the client's card. I hope that answers your question. And also, as we conclude, there's a comment from Moses Karanja. In that note too, a scheme can be active on Slade, but some benefits, i.e. chronic benefits, and say, yes, that's actually correct. So the reason why you might be able to find that these specific benefits have waiting period, but are you able to submit a claim is this specific benefits, we call them sub-benefits because they are linked to a main benefit. Let's say if it's outpatient or it's an inpatient benefit. So you find that the main benefit is inpatient or outpatient, but it has some other sub-benefits called maybe chronic benefits and the like that are dependent on the main benefits. However, the waiting period is applied to that specific sub-benefits, but not on the main benefit. The reason why you can be able to submit that is because we don't want to limit you. If we limit that case specifically, you will not be able to use the main benefit when the patient wants to use that. So the best you can do is to display to you, be aware that this specific sub-benefit has a waiting period, and you should not use it until the waiting period lapses, because ideally they normally indicate when the waiting period will lapse. So that is the reason why you can be able to submit on that. But in this sense, you're not supposed to use a benefit that has a waiting period for that specific case. I hope that answers your question. So there's a, how do we know there is, so if a benefit has a waiting period, it normally indicates there with the red indication that this benefit has waiting period, and also it indicates to you when the waiting period will end. So if a patient or the benefit to that patient has a waiting period, the system will always show you there is a waiting period for that specific case. Final one.
Hey Ben,
Yes, Peter.
I can just answer, how does one know that there is a waiting period? So Karen, how we know it is when you want to initiate, they are the same way Ben has mentioned. Like this particular waiting period services, they're actually linked to, they're actually sub-benefits on that particular benefits, let's say like outpatient. When you want to initiate the visit, or now when you initiate a visit, you always click on start visit. Before patient places the fingerprint, you'll actually see services that are actually waiting period. So that's the point whereby we actually know you're keen enough in checking the system. So that's the point whereby we actually indicated the modules. So that you be keen, you don't initiate the visit on that particular unrelated services, because you'll actually get a rejection. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I think for the interest of time also, we conclude, because of course we need to serve our clients. I'd like to usher in our colleague Steve, so that he can also show us added values that we can offer as Slade360, so that you can be able to understand the value prep that you have on our side. Other than Slade360, we have other products that you can also tap in. After that, we'll have my colleague Francis also share something with us. Then we'll conclude with Sandra announcing to us the winners for today's game session. Thank you.
So hi everyone. I hope I'm being heard loud and clear. So I just take this opportunity to take you through a product that we are actually working on. So this product has been can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So this product has been in existence for a few years, but what we are trying to do is actually improving it and upgrading it so that everything falls under one product. So you people who are in this meeting have been clients or customers of Slade360, but now we want to put you under Slade360 Advantage so that you can get more value and more benefits that come from this platform. So number one, what we'll give you is enhanced omnichannel engagement. That ranges from mobile, USSD, shortcodes, and sender IDs that you're able to use for engagement. We know facilities sometimes struggle with patient engagement, more so before and after the visit. So we are trying to bridge this gap by offering those solutions that will help you keep the patient in the loop throughout before they come for treatment and even way after treatment to make follow-up and routine visits better. Then number two, the government is still mandating people to be eTIMS compliant, and right now KRA is really actually serious about eTIMS compliant billing because they need to collect more tax and they need companies and hospitals to be compliant. So everyone falls under this mandate. So Slade360 Advantage offers eTIMS. And that doesn't need you to go to the eTIMS portal or do an integration to be eTIMS compliant. You can do it within the system, which saves you more time and reduces manual billing or movement between system to system. Then we are offering this key offering, which is benefit coordination. Most of you deal with claims here. So what we're trying to do is we want you to bill SHA, cash, and private insurance all under one platform. So that means you won't have to go to the SHA portal and you won't have to go to Slade. So everything will fall under one platform and you'll be able to just bill effectively so that you can bill the right patient to the right payer, to the right scheme, and also bill the right benefits. So it will remove that ambiguity that happens between when you're doing SHA, cash, and private billing. So that mix of billing will fall under Slade360 Advantage, and it will help you bill correctly. Then again, for Slade360, the EDI will fall now under Slade360 Advantage. So we'll make the payer platform to be more robust to facilitate the movement of claims. That is actually happening, but now we'll make it a bit more modern to the year 2026 so that you're able to do claims transmission easily between your payers and also the self-funded schemes. Then we still offer insights that will enable you to make strategic decisions. Most facilities really struggle with this. They really don't have data that's up to date or data that's really credible to enhance their operations. So we have a pool of data that's credible, more than like 10 years worth of data, because we've been in the business for a while. So we are able to offer these insights to help you make better decisions in your facility. So basically, this is a new Slade360 Advantage, and we plan on going live from March, and we'd like more facilities to join us. And yes, so we urge you to join our waitlist so that you're able to get early access. And once you join the waitlist and sign up and get onboarded, we will give you 5,000 shillings worth of credits And we'd like to have you current EDI users, since you already understand our product, join Slade360 Advantage to make your work easier and to make your operations run more seamlessly. So you can scan this QR code, fill in that form, and we'll get into contact with you once we get your details. So basically, that's a nutshell of what Slade360 Advantage is, and we hope to have you on board. So I'd like to introduce my colleague Francis, who will take you through the next products that you are working on. So both are related products, but he'll give more details about Be.Well. Francis, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Stephen, for that. I hope I can be heard. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Amazing. Great. Thank you, Stephen, for that. And as mentioned, these are platforms that work together in the aim of ensuring that we simplify care as much as possible. We also have Be.Well, which helps you, it's a health navigator. Think about it like Airbnb, but for hospitals. You're able to get patient as fast as possible. It's quite seamless, and it's also very easy for you to be able to get more appointments, more footfall, more revenue, and of course, more awareness of what the different hospitals are doing across the country. So this, of course, will improve in terms of rating as well. You're able to get rated by different patients, and also get more feedback so that you can ensure that you enhance the quality of care that you give. Yeah, so this is a simple platform, and we also love this part of the journey. As of course we're building Advantage, we'd love for you to we start here on Be.Well, where you can easily create a landing page and patients can find. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, simple process. You can also scan to claim your landing page today. It's a simple step. It's a quick form. I'll also attach it on the meeting link so that yes, it becomes easy for you to simplify care as much as possible. Back to you, Ben. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francis and Steve, for that. This is just to assure you that, guys, you have much more to offer to you in case maybe you see something that can be helpful to your work line. That is the entire goal, is to just make sure that the healthcare industry work processes are effective and seamless, because at the end of it all, we do not want the patients to go through a patient is a patient, of course. They are also struggling at that point. We wouldn't want also to add more baggage on them, just in terms of maybe poor processes and ineffectiveness in the same context. So that is what we have for you today. We appreciate your time. We know we've much spent the time that we had scheduled for you to attend this webinar, but we hope that it has been educative and you've learned something today. In the event that maybe there's something you didn't ask and you wanted to ask, feel free to reach out to our support lines. Of course, they are on your landing page on Slade360. You can reach out through the emails, through the contacts, and we'll be able to assist you where we need to assist. So finally, I'd like to usher in okay. So basically, we are giving you a minute or two so that you're able to scan this QR code and fill in the form so that we can be able to engage further on the same products in the event that maybe it's something that we want to adopt. As we do that, we will want to ask our colleague Sandra so that she can announce the winners, and once she announces you, please feel free to share your contact so that we can reach out for your prizes. Sandra, it's a time to shine.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for joining in and bringing out the fun and participating. And the energy was amazing during the game session. So on a quick note, if you give a correct answer more than once, the next person to say the correct answer is going to get the prize so that everyone feels appreciated and everyone gets a chance to participate. So we had 5 questions and we have the following results. So for the first question, we have Jared Achia. And for the second question, we have Steady254. Third question, we have Karen A from Astral Dental. And fourth question, we have Alan McTassel. And the fifth question, we have Dennis Zunia. So I'll read them again. For the first question, Jared Chia. Second question, 3254. The third question, Karen A from Astral Dental. Fourth question, we have Alan McTassel. And fifth question, we have Dennis Zunia. So as you hear your name, please type in your full name, your contact number, and the facility in the chat that you're representing as well. And for those who weren't able to scan the previous QR code, there are links that have been sent by Francis in the chat for you to access. Thanks again for making the session fun, and I will hope to see and hear from you again soon. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys. You are free to leave. If you wish to stay, we'll be here for a while. In case you have something else to let us know, feel free. So otherwise, have a good day, and we hope to collaborate more and serve patients better. Thank you.
Ben, before we end, there was a hand, Parkview Dental. I don't know if we can give them an opportunity to speak. Or maybe I'll ignore by mistake. That's okay.